along to all Americans are now in the hands of my thieving friends and cronies. With the help of my fellow tooth fairies in Congress, I've stolen public lands and minerals and energy resources, not to mention tax revenues, and conveyed them to my special friends through a systematic program of privatization and tax breaks for the richest 1/10 of 1% of the population. I've given huge tax breaks to the oil companies and the energy companies and the insurance industry, and I've gotten the government out of everyone's hair by deregulating everything, banking and real estate and airlines and coal mining and utilities and trucking, while at the same time I ignored our deteriorating infrastructure. Hooray! I've all but destroyed the American manufacturing industry and shipped more than 3 million jobs overseas. What I did for our cities, I also did for rural America. Why, more than 40% of our agriculture land is now owned by foreign investors. I've made huge cuts in Medicare and Medicaid, while at the same time, I've increased the number of uninsured by more than 9 million. This year, I cut the budget for health and human services by more than $2 billion and increased the Pentagon budget by more than $35 billion. This year, I will spend $515 billion on Pentagon programs, and this doesn't count the cost of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I've nearly bankrupted the Treasury and made my good friends in Dubai and Saudi Arabia so happy by increasing our dependence on their oil by more than 7%. Oil companies like ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, Conoco, and British Petroleum recorded the most obscene single-year profits for any corporations in history, with Exxon alone earning profits in excess of $70 billion. The top 20 oil companies recorded profits in excess of $700 billion. When I came into office, the price of gas was only $1.39. Now it's approaching $4 a gallon. Our annual trade deficit is increased by $379 billion. Our median income has fallen more than $1,200 per household, while consumer credit debt has increased by $5.1 trillion. The number of Americans now living below poverty has increased by more than 2 million, and hundreds of thousands are now in danger of losing their homes. I've helped bring about the biggest stock market collapse in 40 years. I brought us to the brink of economic disaster by increasing our expenditures to the military sector by more than 1,000%, cutting revenue overall. In 2004, our budget deficit was $413 billion, the largest in history. This year, it will be more than $417 billion. I'm the most reckless, irresponsible, big-time spendthrift in American history, and many of you silly people still think I'm a fiscal conservative.